Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to another episode of Feed the Beast. So, we're in Sam's base right now, and what you see in front of you is a bunch of ranchers. I had some issues with getting resources from the tree farm and the bee age, so I decided to play around with a lot of the Minefactory Reloaded stuff, and I'm actually going to make every single machine and play around with them. But for now, I've only made the rancher, the fertilizer, the planter, and the harvester. So I figured I'd just kind of go over the blocks real quickly, and then I'll show you how I set the thing up at my base. The rancher affects a 5x5 area in front of it. So Sam had originally done this with deployers and I think transposers to get the wool that drops on the ground, but the rancher actually, you have to give it MJ, and it shears the sheep, or if you put a cow in, if you put a cow in there, it'll milk the cow automatically, and it spits it out the back. And as you can see, it does not interface by default with pneumatic tubes. It will interface with Buildcraft pipes, and you do not have to use an autarkic gate or redstone engine. It just kicks it out. I imagine if you use it with a relay, that it'll put it in the relay, and then your relay could kick it out into your pneumatic tube network. But Minefactory Reloaded, I guess in 1.5, I heard that it kind of replaces some of the red power functionality as far as the gates, not the gates, the latches and stuff. So I'm trying to do my stuff without red power, just in case I don't get to use it in the future. So that's the rancher. If we go back to my place, I've got the thing set up over here. We'll get to this nonsense in a minute. Oh, I also made the sludge boiler, and I'm going to have to break that first because while it's working, it gives us the hunger effect. You see it's now affecting me. Hunger and poison. So I'm going to break that. So how I've got this set up, let me just take out some of these blocks so we can see it. All of these blocks affect a 3x3 area in front of them. And the planter needs to go below your soil, and it affects 3x3 on top of it. So you can see it's full of saplings. I have a tesseract under here that is giving power to all of these machines. And I've got an export bus with saplings on the planter. So that's always full. And then this is the fertilizer, and it has fertilizer in here. And it uses this fertilizer or industrial fertilizer. If we look at this stuff you can make with this recipe, but I have been recycling all my wheat, so that's not going to work for us. But it'll use, what's the other stuff? The regular fertilizer, this stuff. And as you can see, if you pulverize apatite, you get 4 of them. So I have a pattern in my interface on one of my pulverizers, and I told this guy to craft when you need to. So whenever it needs to, it sends 1 apatite to the pulverizer, and it gives us 4 fertilizer, which then go up here. There's a 50% chance of, what was that, phosphor? Yeah, phosphor dust, which I don't know if there's a use for it. If I get a fair amount of it, I will see if there's a use for it and start using it. But I'm using just regular oak saplings because they don't need any space between them. They grow up. And the harvester, this is what it looks like. It generates the sludge, and it outputs on the back. It's the same dot. It looks the same as the back of the red power things. So it doesn't look like it's connected to the pipe, but it is. It outputs items into it. If I actually flip it around, we'll see they come to us instead. when it kicks them out. So if you tell it to shear the leaves, then you actually get the silk touched version of the leaves, as you can see coming out right here. I don't have any use for that. I actually want the saplings. So I don't have that checked. And then, you could do mushrooms and jungle wood with it as well. I guess, I don't know why you would put this in a jungle unless you wanted to get the vines off of it. I'm not really sure. I haven't set it up like that. But basically, that's how that works. It harvests the 3x3 area in front of it. As you can see, it's already knocked down all of the trees. It's gonna get all of the leaves that were connected to those trees, and it may not get. Well, it did get all of them. Cool. And the fertilizer pops up a new batch of trees. It actually did it a little too quickly, but it's no big deal. It generates plenty of logs. I had 0 last night. I woke up this morning and I had 1,000 while everything was still running. So the sludge that this produces, if it fills up, it doesn't seem to affect the machine. It still works, but you can liquiduct it out, or you can put the sludge boiler right next to it. If I can stand here, we'll just pop that down. Damn it. And now the sludge boiler has the sludge. What it does, it turns that sludge into blocks. And you can kind of see it going through the thing right there. I think that one was cracked sand. There's some quicksand. But it makes, according to the wiki, clay, sand, dirt, and soul sand. But I've also gotten quicksand from it. And it doesn't generate that much of it. It's just a block here and there. But I'll take it. No big deal. And the harvester, going back to that very quickly, it works on all the vanilla things. It works on pumpkins, melons. I think it works on wheat, all that stuff. And it works on the Minefactory rubber saplings as well. So if you want to use that rubber instead of the industrial craft rubber, you can do that. I'm not sure if it works on the IC2 rubber or not. It does. It works on IC2 rubber, Red Power 2 rubber trees, and flax, which is pretty awesome. So that's what I've done for a tree farm. I just kind of put it up here because I didn't have a better place to put it. And I may end up moving it, but I'm going to set it up exactly like I have it set up. I tried to put an import bus on the back of this one, but it didn't work. So probably an interface would work, but I have no problem tesseracting it. And it looks like I lost my connection, so give me just a second and I'll rejoin you when I am back on the server. Okay, here we go. I am back. I did not bother to put torches around this thing, but it seems to be working at night just fine without any extra light. So I'm not really worried about that. So what have I got going on right here? Obviously I have some mobs. I had to test this out. I'm running out of seed oil also. And I think it was probably due to running out of logs, and then the surge of impregnated sticks probably drained my seed oil. But I have less than, I don't know, 500 buckets. Yeah, 258. Not nearly enough seed oil. So I thought, why don't I have Sam make me a walnut tree, which he did. Since he's still breeding bees, it's really easy for him. So I thought I would use this multi-block farm that I never use for anything else. Let me make sure there's nothing creeping up on us. I thought I'd use this multi-block farm in orchard mode to see if I could use it to get walnuts. And I'm lagging. Maybe it'll catch up. Maybe not. No. Okay, I'm back, and I think everybody got kicked that time. So I decided to go ahead and sleep real quick so I can finish this damn episode. If Sam would leave me alone on Skype, jeez. Alright. I'm just kidding. He was going to reboot the VPS, but I told him, just give me 5 or 10 minutes. Let me get through this, and then he can do whatever he wants. So, where was I? This is in orchard mode, and I was just testing it out to see how it worked. Because I'd never used a multi-block farm in orchard mode before. I didn't know what it needed or what it used. So I threw a redstone energy cell on it. It was full when I hooked it up. And as you can see, it still has quite a bit of energy. So these things don't use... I'm going to D&D because he will not stop it. These things don't use very much energy at all, which is good. But they do use a little bit of fertilizer. I put 27 in, and this was full of water. And I just did it for my test. And I've already taken the walnuts out a couple of times. But basically, you know, I've got the 3 things. I've got the farm hatch, the hydration valve, and the gearbox is on the other side of the redstone energy cell. And all of this dirt and these guys are unnecessary because it's a manual thing, right? Manual farm. So basically what you have to do is you have to put the blocks wherever you want them, plant your tree, let it grow, and then you have to wait for the fruit to mature, which takes a while, probably like at least 3 or 4 hours in real life. I did the same thing with the cherry trees. This one's been there for like a couple of weeks, and you can see all of them are red. I planted these other ones this morning, and right now it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. I planted them sometime before noon. Some of them have cherries that are ripe, and some of them don't. And I planted this guy at the same time as I planted these other 3 cherry trees. Not that one, the other 3. And basically just waited to see what happened. So I'm going to use this to get walnuts, and I'm going to hook it up probably the same way I did the MFR tree farm. I'll just put an aqueous accumulator to give the water to the hydration thing. And then I'll use probably an import bus right here. Actually, I'll put an export bus and an import bus so I can put fertilizer in it and take out the walnuts, because that is the only thing we're going to get from this. So hopefully AE is smart enough to only put the fertilizer where it goes. As for this intricate circuit, I'm going to show you how to make that very quickly, and I'm just going to hack it in because I don't feel like making a new one. Basically how the thing works, you're going to need an intricate circuit, which if we look at the recipe for this, it's gold and redstone in the carpenter like this. With water you get your intricate circuit board, and then you need some electron tubes, and different electron tubes do different things. So I just needed copper, and you need 4 of them, and you also need a soldering iron. And the soldering iron goes in the carpenter as well. It's 1 bronze and 3 iron. Makes your soldering iron, you have to give it water. So if we take our soldering iron, initially you're on the electric engine page. You want to page over to manual farms. And if you put your circuit board in here, actually let's leave that off. You put your copper electron tube right here and it'll say orchard. If you put another one, it'll say something else, but all we want to do is we want to do the orchard, and each of these corresponds to a direction, north, south, east, or west. I don't know which is which, but you want to put an electron tube in each one, and then you put your circuit board in, and then bam. And it says manual farm, orchard, 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 which means it's going to be an orchard on all 4 sides. Now, I don't know if you can run a managed farm and an orchard on the same circuit board, but I don't really care about that. That is not what we need it for. I only did it enough to get the orchard. So this is just the 3x3 version of the forestry thing, whatever it's called, the multi-block farm. So I'm going to have to go ahead and put my stone brick all the way around it, and I'm going to have to look up the pattern because I forget. Then I'm going to have to see how many trees I can make grow. And these walnuts, they take 4 saplings. You have to put them 2x2, just like jungle trees. And then, I don't have any bone meal, but whichever one you have to bone meal, I want to say that it's been this one, which is the one on the northwest corner. Maybe a different one, I'm not really sure. But if you bone meal the correct one, then your tree grows. Wait for your walnuts to mature, and then, as you can see, we've already gotten 4 more in the time that I've been talking. Hardly used any fertilizer at all, or any water, which is good because those other ones eat through that stuff. So when you put your circuit board in here, then it says orchard on, whichever side, north, south, east, west. So if you did a different one on a different side, I don't know. It's all on the forestry wiki, so go to singular.net if you're interested in that. It didn't really matter to me, so like I said, I didn't really look into it. So I'm going to have to figure out where to put this. I really have no idea. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably going to flatten out the top of this guy. My room with most of the Greg Tech machines is right below. This is where that Zycraft lava tank was. Now it's a Railcraft tank. But it's right in the middle, almost right in the middle of the room. You can see the corner right here. And I have ME cable right there. And so I just ran it straight up. So I think I'm going to situate the farms over here because it's in the boundaries of my chunk loader, and I don't want the stuff to interfere with the terrain or whatever else. So I'll probably chop the top off that, and I think what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just move this one since I've already shown you the setup, and when I set up this one, I'll go ahead and plant the trees to get them growing, and then we'll set up the delivery system for the fertilizer, water, etc. if you guys want to see that. If you don't, no big deal. Just let me know in a comment down below. It's very simple. Like I said, aqueous accumulator for the water, probably a tesseract for the power, and then an import bus and export bus to take the walnuts out and put fertilizer in respectively. So that is all I really have for this episode. I am going to play around with more of the Minefactory Reloaded machines. I think I'm going to make all of them just to kind of play around. And where's my portal? The only other thing I need to do right now, I put another Railcraft tank underneath the biofuel tank, and I need to make it. Basically, if you put 2 Railcraft tanks next to each other, you see this is the top of one, this is the bottom of the other. If the valves are touching, they'll automatically drain into each other. So I just need to make this tank, and hopefully my valve is in the right place. And as soon as it realizes that that's a tank down there, the liquid should flow straight down. It did it when I tested it with water. Let's do this. Come on, biofuel. What's up? Maybe it has to be there before, like maybe you have to make both of the tanks and then then it'll pump it in there. Or maybe it has to have the same type of liquid. Let me grab a can or a... Oh, I have a bucket. Let's take a bucket. We'll take biofuel out of this one and pop it in there. Filled up this guy, of course, because it's on. And now that's full. So I don't know why that's not draining into it unless I messed up the valves, but I'm pretty sure I did not. Maybe it has to be directly in the center of the tank. That doesn't make any sense, but you know, you never know. Yep, valves right on top of each other. And I cannot put the valves in the center of the tank because that block is what holds the information. And I'll be damned if I lose 10,000 buckets of biofuel. So I may have to liquiduct it down here, no big deal. I just thought, hey, you know, if I could set it up like that, then that would be a really easy way to do it. So I'll just grab a couple of valves and we'll do it manually. And what I'll do is I'll just put a new valve right here and a valve right here if I can get that damn block. I hate it when they pop inside like that. So I'll put that guy there. That guy there. And we'll just do that for now, and then once I've gotten it going, maybe it'll cooperate. Alright, that's definitely working. So what I may do now is disable this tesseract temporarily so it doesn't put more in there. And just let this guy run, transfer all that stuff, and then hopefully it'll work like it's supposed to next time. If not, I'll just put a liquiduct behind the wall right here so we don't see it, so that it goes in the top and drains below. But that's going to take a while. So that'll do it for this episode. I'm not gonna automate this just yet until I get an answer about whether or not you want to see it. Like I said, it's fairly simple. It's not that big of a deal. I could always just go ahead and do it and then show you what I've done next time. But I like to do stuff like that during episodes. One other word of warning: make sure you know what mode your mining laser is on before you fire it. I was trying to go straight up here, and my mining laser was on scatter mode, which is why you see all these holes everywhere. And it didn't mess anything up, luckily, but it could have. So always double check to make sure what mode you're on before you fire that thing. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. Also, feel free to leave me a thumbs down. I've been getting them more frequently lately for some reason, and I think it's awesome. I guess it's just one of the perils of getting more views. Or maybe my episodes just suck either way, so thumbs down away. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.